Hello and welcome to 5 p.m. WCF, which stands for 5 Prestigious Men with Catastrophic Failures. And I am your host, and I'm not going to give my name, so you can just leave that anonymous. So this show is a show that I don't want to be a part of. I was actually forced to. I was going to go to jail, and I didn't want to be locked up. So they agreed to let me do this show as a host for it. And if I do that, it counts as community service. So that is why I'm here. And that right there is my failure. So that's the point of the show, is we go through 5 men, and everybody needs to vote on who has had the biggest failure, the biggest drop from going to top to rock bottom. And so that was mine right there. The fact that I'm on the show not being paid, well, none of us are, and I don't want to be. So that's my fail. So when you vote, just vote anonymous guy or whatever you choose, or the host guy. Okay, let me bring out my first guest. His name is Adam Stark. Hey, thank you. It's good to be here. Okay, so just so you know out there, folks, Adam Stark is known to be a rapper, and he's an MC, and he is an author. And to be honest, none of those things are actually his fails. As you can see, he's a rapper that's in the 21st century that actually makes sense, and his lyrics are actually good, and they aren't nonsensical. And I read his book, very good, very well done. So those two things have nothing to do with the reason he's on this show for his failures. So that's kind of why I picked you to go first, because you actually have successes behind your name and not just riddled in utter failures. And not to mention, you're very punctilious when it comes to your attention to details. So you did very good. Now, I'm going to get straight into the butt. Hey, let's watch the mouth, huh? We don't use words like bad when you're describing me. Come on now. Oh, but on the contrary, I do believe that there are some failures when it comes to your name and what you've done that we've seen here. For example, okay, so your history as a YouTube reporter is rather dull and rather insane. So, okay, let's see here. You you claimed that you could prove with medical science that people like yourself who have trouble going to sleep don't actually have trouble going to sleep. You're simply addicted to being awake. You have morbidly awake syndrome. I mean, come on now, that's absurd. Well, hey, you know what? You win some and you lose some. Geesh, you can't be perfect all the time. Well, let's just get on to the next point. Now, it says here that you... Oh, okay, I'm sorry, it appears we got another caller on the line that got through by mistake. Hey, press the mute button, please. Mute this guy. I don't want my part of the show being ruined, host. Mute this guy. Okay. Oh, my apologies. That was technical difficulties, but we managed to get that caller muted. I don't know how he got in here, but he got muted, and that was nice. Now, the next, let's just keep going here. The next thing I was going to get to was, Adam, you claim that you have mind control. Now, this, just find out, but you know what? Just let me stop you right there, okay? I just used mind control, okay? I just got you to mute that guy that called. I just used my mind control and made you mute that guy pressing the mute button because he was on here. I didn't want him, and I made you do it with my brain. Oh, okay, let's not jump off the end of the crazy stick here. So you didn't use mind control it's my job to make him stop. It's a show. I can't just let him going on with using his trumpet. I mean, the guy was... Nah, okay, that's enough, host. Listen to me. I planted the idea in your head. I said, mute that guy. And guess what? You did it. I put the idea in your head. You did it. Let's not make excuses. Let's not take away from the potency of my power of mind control, okay? Case closed. I just used it, and I'm tired of you denying it. Well, that's a kind of an amazing explanation, I guess. Sensational. Well, I can say this then. I guess, in the very least, at least you blew my mind. Well, you know what? You got your mind blue, and now I just read your mind. So now your mind is whatever color blue and red are mixed together. You know, I can't see colors. I'm colorblind. Oh, God. I already hate you. Okay. I'm already giddy with excitement to hear your answer for this one. So, this one definitely blew my mind, okay? So, you actually ran for president of the United States before you were even old enough. You know what? Yes, okay, I overthought it. I ran a campaign. I thought it was a good campaign. I thought I raised some very good points. I thought I could do it better than anyone else that has ever ran for president in the last 20 years. I think I did a wonderful job, except the fact that I couldn't legally do it. But, I mean, you couldn't argue the points I made. You know I did this. I hate politicians. I hate them all. So I thought I could just do it better. What is so wrong with that? Besides, well, the fact that I couldn't actually do it. But, just look at what I was doing. Like, look what I said. I made great points. I made very cogent points. I feel like I had the best running in the race, like I said, in like the last 20 years or so. Okay, this right here just blew my mind, and I don't want to hear some stupid color joke this time, please. But this just blew my mind. So you just said you hate politicians. You even said you hate them all, but you became one yourself. Don't you just see the problem here, the dichotomy with your stupid statement? Hey, you know what? Let's just set the record crooked right now. Okay, first of all, only banks have stupid statements, host. Okay, and second of all, yeah, okay, I hate all politicians, and I tried to become one, because I know I can do it better. I hate my barber, but you know what? If I was my own barber, I would love barbers. I mean, what do you want from me? Wow. I've hated politicians since the beginning of the dawn of time, since the very entrance into life. Since the Bible, since there's a lot of them, but the first one, the OG version. Okay, folks, that was Adam Stark. So, if you think he had the worst failure of the 5 men after tonight's show, then please vote him as the biggest loser. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to my next guest here, and I'm happy to see that this guest has a PhD and a doctorate, so he's got nice credentials. So his name is Dr. Putrick Gellpenske. So I want to ask you, Sir Doctor, what in the world landed you to lose everything? Okay, just tell me exactly what happened. Apparently, you had one bad botched job, so at your job, and this is the medical field, so obviously there was big consequences. So go ahead and please tell me your story, Dr. Putrick Gelpenske.
Well, thank you. I've dedicated my life to medical science and making sure that I take great care of everybody that, comes into my path, and I believe everything happens for a reason. So, what happened was, I lost my license to perform surgeries. I basically lost everything. I made a bad call, is what happened. So, we were doing a rescue salvage operation, and this was at Mount Everest, okay? Very cold, coldest cold. And we found a dead guy, and what happened was, I thought he was alive. He was dead, medically speaking, but I was sure that he was alive. And what happened is, I was petitioning to get people to give up money to contribute body parts to try and save this guy. But like I said before, he was actually dead, so the efforts were wasted, and that didn't look too well. But so...
Oh, okay, stop. Okay, I am already very pejorative with your words. This is absolutely insane. So, how in the world, you thought he was alive? How could you do that? You're a doctor. Your opinions on this matter should be far beyond anybody else's. How on earth could you think he was alive? What happened here?
Well, basically what was going on was, I got a malpractice lawsuit, of course, because, we got funds and we got people that contribute body parts. Even some celebrities kicked in because, it was a sad situation. There was commercials for it and everything, and, it was trending, and unfortunately, I just made the bad call because the guy was dead, obviously. No, what happened was, I made a very crucial mistake. I saw something. I saw something that was amazing. I saw something that in my 36 years of medical science that I have never seen, and I have performed miracles. I have given children life. I have given their mothers birth to children that were not even close to being able to survive. They've had 0 chances of survival. They've had, pieces of metal found in their stomachs, and then we were able to sue companies after they had the baby also to make it even better. That's another reason I'm very respected. And yet, I've been able to amputate, limbs in the matter of moments and saved enough time to make blood transfusions. I have performed miracles in my time. I have done so many things you would not believe. And then I saw something with this guy that was actually dead, as I said, but I saw something I have never seen in my 36 years as a medical professional. He was holding a cell phone that had an unfinished text message, and I've never seen that before. That was bizarre. That is against human nature. I've never seen that in my life. And it was a text, and it wasn't being sent. It was just being typed, and it said, I space THINK, I think, and then I apostrophe M, I'm, space GONNA, gonna, and then it said so DIE, and it said I think I'm gonna, and then the last word DIE, and I'm assuming he was gonna say diet, as if, I think I'm gonna diet, I believe is what he was trying to text. So, trying to tell his loved ones that he was gonna go on a diet. But it was an unfinished text message, and it wasn't sent, obviously, because it was still on that screen. And I've never seen that in all my years. This is something I had not came across before. So I thought, well, he must be alive. I mean, nobody has unfinished text messages in this age, in this industrial information age. And so I basically thought that there would be a way to, save him, and we could, replace his organs and stuff. But it turned out to be a big problem, and I lost everything and got sued, malpractice lawsuit. I lost my license to do surgeries, and of course, celebrities that contributed body parts and money sued, and so that's my failure, I guess. If you want to call it a failure, I certainly do.
Look, you're a horrible guy, but you definitely, I say that out loud, but you definitely take the cake on this one. I'm not supposed to be biased, I'm assuming, because I'm a host, but I'm going to tell you this right now, folks. Dr. Putrick Gellpenske gets my vote so far. Adam Stark has failures, but yours is an abysmal failure. It's embarrassing. This truly is like the title, a catastrophic failure. Okay, I personally want you to know thank you for joining the show, but I really hate you, and I have no respect for you, and I never will. Okay, folks, now I actually have to cut to commercial. So we'll be back after a moment from our commercial break or so.
Hello, my friends. Are you tired of being intellectually challenged? Are you tired of your smarter friends always getting things right and you not knowing the answers? Or are you tired of not knowing the facts when it comes to things that are very important or at least measured that way of sorts? Well, then I got the answer for you. Introducing the newest in technology. Comes This is the Smarty Pants, equipped with all sorts of buttons and knobs. And then, of course, you got to put in your communicator into your ear. Now, the way Smarty Pants works is all you have to do is find out what the question is that you're looking for. Is there something random being asked to you and you don't know the answer? Is there a memory that you've forgotten and you just wish you knew the details? All you got to do is activate Smarty Pants, and it will tell you the answers right into your ears. And then you can tell the answer. You can answer anything that comes to mind, any question or quarrel that you may have had that got into your way. And then nothing will stop you from looking like the smart guy or girl that I know that you are.
Smarty Pants does not negotiate with terrorists. Smarty Pants does not participate in political discussions of any sort. Smarty Pants does not understand sarcasm. Smarty Pants cannot mend relationships that were damaged. Smarty Pants cannot commit acts of treason or acts of academic dishonesty. Smarty Pants is not a viable source for therapy. Smarty Pants does not work if you're pregnant. This advertisement is sponsored by Brownie. Oh, why? Oh my God. I seriously hate commercials. I hate it. I mean, what kind of a commercial was so stupid? It was a stupid advertisement. It didn't even have a price. Oh my God. I hate commercials. Why on earth didn't I just go to jail? Why did I say I have to do community service and do this show? I hate commercials. I just kill myself to do this job. I cannot stand stupid commercials for the life of me. Oh, they're going to be the death of me. I just hate them. Oh, before I get too much off the rails, I guess I better keep the show rolling, so... Oh, Lord. Okay, so, next, I suppose I have to bring in my next guest, and hopefully this is the apotheosis of this whole show, because I hope it gets over with. The next guy on the show, contestant, prestigious man with a catastrophic failure, his name is Sammis Culdren, and he was in a very highly notable management position, supervisor for a very big company, won't mention names, and apparently you had a colossal failure, Sammis Culdren, so go ahead and tell us our story, and let us know exactly how it went, and I hope that, you have at least one iota of good judgment compared to these other guests so far.
Well, first of all, let me stop you there. I do not drive a Toyota, so that's not applicable here in this situation.
No, oh my God. I said iota. Do you not know what that means? Well, why am I even asking? Why ask a redundant question, a rhetorical question, when your rhetoric is more on the borderline of another R word? This is unbelievable. Well, you know what? Why don't we just cut? I don't even want to hear your voice from your stupid face. So, okay, let me just go through the list for you, and you can chime in if you have something somewhat intelligent to say, or if you have one Toyota of an idea of something to add to this. So, all right, let me just cut to the chase. So you were given a very nice, I'm not going to say the company, but a supervisor position in a very high up company, and you were given a clear list of how to do it well, in fact, and then instead you micromanaged, you made all these silly other ideas that you pressed, instead of just going with the list that was given to you by the presidents of the company. Instead you made your own laundry list of things to do at that work, at that job. How in the world could you make such a mess and not just follow simple rules? Why did you have to make your own rules and just ruin it and then end up on this show with you just had to...
Well, okay, so, I mean, yes, it ended up being a failure because I obviously lost my job. And, I look at it like this, you said I made a mess. Well, a mess equals more jobs because then you need more people to clean it up. So I was looking at everything, in a very positive, optimistic way.
You made a mess? You made a mess to make more jobs? I cannot stand this guy. Okay, I'm just going to run through this, please. I cannot stand the idiocy that is accompanying this whole thing. So, all right, let me get this straight. So, of all things to focus on, and you decided that you needed to make the marble floors more clean they weren't clean enough, according to you, because you wanted it to be so clean that if the president walked into your building, that they could be able to see his face. And they would be that clean. And that, to you, took importance, took precedence, no pun intended, over everything else. That was a job? Oh, that's horrible. That isn't important. Just give me a second to puke here. Okay. Now, the next, I could not believe this. So you said, as a form of security, the locks on your employees' lockers needed more combinations? And so you went through this whole funding process and program of taking all the locks, getting rid of them to get more expensive lock. That's like 500 lockers or so or more. What kind of a money waste is that? That is an economic catastrophe on its own, man. Good Lord. Oh, yeah. No, I'm muting you. I don't even want to hear you. Okay, let's get to the next thing. So you said that you need more expensive, more powerful microwaves in the break rooms to save time for making lunches. This is absurd. This is to make lunches faster, to save the break time. Oh my Lord. The amount of... you thought that was going to make money. Okay, so that... Now, this one I actually have to ask you about. Okay, so then you said you were going to implement a swear jar. Okay, a swearing jar. You know, you put money in the jar when you swear. But that it will explode when it's filled?
Yeah, so let me just make that clear. Swearing is something that we don't have time for. I don't appreciate, that jargon, again, no pun intended. But no, it was a swear jar. I figured it's another way for the company to make money. So when people swear, they can put money into the swear jar, and they would feel guilty doing so because it would actually explode when it gets filled up to the top. And I would make it hard to see when it is going to get filled to the top. And then, of course, you got to be aware of the dangers of explosive devices. That was just the way that I...
You are horrible. I wouldn't trust you to supervise a Christmas tree. I mean, oh my God! So you just micromanage. I might as well just keep moving on here. We have all day, but I don't want all day to take. Okay, so now the next thing you said to make all the fax machines project a horrendous sound of bears, as in the animal bears, grizzly bears, to make the sound of bears mating to prevent overusing paper due to addressing errors? Do people make that many errors, man? To the point where you need to make the fax machines make this horrible sound so that they won't be tempted, in your words, your stupid mind, to make addressing errors when they're printing and sending faxes. So you just implement these expensive ways to stop the problem. Oh, this is absurd. That was a stupid one. Okay, now then this one, you said all water fountains must have a cucumber filter to reduce the chance of bad taste in their mouths?
The thing is, if, they're using the water fountains for free anyways, and that's losing money. So I looked at it like this, to be more economical, if they're tasting water and the water tastes good, then they should be happier workers. They say healthy body, healthy mind. So I thought, make sure the water tastes good, because if it left a bad taste in their mouth, then, they wouldn't be happy workers, and things will not be getting done as productive as I would like it to be.
No. Oh my God. I think you leave a bad taste in all the listeners' mouth, in the audience. That's what the bad taste is. You make me sick. You make me sick. Okay, I'll just move on here. So then you said to move all the parking spots to a separate garage to make employees not want to leave for their lunch breaks. So you actually wanted to make an entire project of construction Well, you need in construction workers. You need to make a parking lot. You already have one on the ground, but you want to make a new parking lot and move it further away just to make people be less tempted to go to their cars to go out for their lunch on break. Oh my God. You'd be the worst supervisor. Oh my God. Oh my God. If you became a manager, I think I could officially call you the Antichrist. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. I'm already, trying not to puke. So, then you said, you need to make the break room filled with a tampered Etch-a-Sketch devices that will only make good drawings to make employees happier? Oh, what is the point? You want to make these expensive Etch-a-Sketches that are rigged, essentially, so that when they use them on the breaks, if they even bloody use the thing, to make them happy. Oh, I can't stand you. No, I'm keeping you muted. I don't want to hear you, stupid face. So, then you seriously said, you wanted to make a petting zoo in the janitor's closet consisting of hamsters, gerbils, and salamanders wearing costumes, and every time there is an accident at work, one of the animals will be neglected food until the point of being malnourished until it dies. You are no longer human. There is something very wrong with you. A petting zoo in a workplace, of all things. Okay, cute little animals. Okay, so that would actually make them happy to see them. But if every day there's an accident, one of them is just gonna die a slow, painful, sad death. I hope that happens to you. No, I don't. I didn't say that on air. I didn't say that. I don't make threats. Everything I say is entirely scripted. I didn't mean anything I said that would get me incarcerated. So next, okay, you said you wanted to make a scoreboard for how much employees buy food from the vending machines to encourage them to buy more and make the company more of a profit. Okay, this one is stupid on a many number of levels. So you're a scoreboard. So you want to encourage people. Yep, look at you, Timmy. You bought $30 in the vending machine this month. Yeah, you're the fattest. So that's going to make them happier, right? Now, second, do they want to make this crappy company more of a profit? I'm not going to say what company it is on air, of course. And then the fact that you don't realize the bloody vending machines aren't from your company. The vending machines are a separate company anyway, so you're not making yourself money. Oh, the nerve. Okay, let me just get to the next thing here. So you said on the TVs in the break rooms to replace all advertisements and commercials with surveillance cameras so they can watch each other work. Okay, first of all, there's got to be some kind of a rule there, some kind of a OSHA or HIPAA violation there. I just don't see how that would. And, well, I do hate advertisements, so I'm not going to give you too much gripe on that one, besides the fact that it's probably illegal somehow. Anyways, then you said you wanted to make all of the scales on the bathrooms and an extra 20 pans to convince employees to work harder. So you think that by them using scales to see that they're heavier and even more fat asses, that they'll actually work harder. This is just... What kind of a waste of money is this? Oh my God. You make me sick, you wretched pile of loathsome filth. Okay, so next you said that this one is insane. This is insane. You said you wanted to build a bar next door to make employees tempted to spend their money there drinking and, fueling their alcoholic tendencies, essentially, and then which should make them less likely to quit? What on earth? Oh my God. Okay, so Then, all right, let me get to the last one. This one here just takes all the cake. So then you said you wanted to implement an Employee of the Month program, where the best employee of the month would actually get, some kind of a raise or something. So that's like an incentive idea, okay? But so then what you do is you give Employee of the Month to the worker that doesn't even work in your building. It doesn't even work in your division or during your shift. So then why on earth would anybody support this idea? You're just pissing your employees off. They want to give a damn about the job. You micromanage them all the way down to beyond the hell in the Netherlands, and then you think that they're going to appreciate the fact that some other worker, not even in their shift, gets Employee of the Month. So how on earth is this fair to them? I'm actually going to unmute you and ask you this question.
Okay, so basically what happened was, I wanted to make an Employee of the Month program. Okay, so there was one employee in particular, I won't say his or her name on air, but he did very well. He actually gave us a very nice net production of products, okay? So what I wanted to do was to give him the Employee of the Month thing. And, pardon me. So what happened was, I couldn't reach him, and I ended up having to give it to somebody else, and I didn't want to give it to another employee of the same unit or the same shift, because then it would just, it wouldn't be fair for him. So I wanted to give it to somebody who I just assumed deserved it from another shift entirely, another area, another line of work in the same building. And, basically that was exactly what happened, and, the thing is, I tried to reach out to him, and it didn't happen. No, you're not getting off that easy, mister. So I actually know more about the story. I was hoping you were going to touch on it, but apparently the only thing that touches you is stupidity in your brain waves and your brainstem misfunction. But so, no. So you called the guy, and the guy was even complaining because you called, and you called him, he couldn't have hung up on you because it was an answering machine. You called him, and it went on the answering machine. He just simply didn't answer the call that moment. You couldn't just wait until he got back to you, and then make your one probably worthwhile idea work? I mean, what's wrong with you? That is not correct. That is not true. I did call him, and that was not a machine. It was a human voice that I heard.
Oh, I'm done. You're too stupid to not understand how an answering machine works. It's a voice mechanism that they say, please leave your name and number after the tone. Oh my god, why am I even explaining this to you? You're too dumb to understand. I can, you're done. Your segment of the show is officially cut off, okay? You're done. Let me just bring out the last guest here so we can just get the show on and hopefully never come back. Okay, so now let's get to the very last guest here. His name is Powen Yootipopper. So Powen Yootipopper, it appears here that you have a very, very prestigious job, just like everyone else, and then you basically hit rock bottom too from a catastrophic failure. So, okay, let me hear your story. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on the show. So this is the story of Powen Yootipopper. So I grew up in a rural town until I went to Harvard and graduated with honors. When I was a baby, my father was a milk salesman and a cattle farmer while my mother was a butcher. I first encountered puberty when I was doing my taxes No, you bloody imbecile, you virus to humanity. I didn't mean your story as in your life story. I meant, for God's sake, what is your embarrassing failure that led you to be on this stupid show? I mean, you people make me sick. I just want to overdose on WD-40 and I just want to drown. I don't want to be a part of this. Well, that's a very interesting thing to say. I don't see how taxes are going to help you with that. WD-40, that's not taxes. Are you that stupid? Why am I asking? I already know the answer. I am very sick of you. You are a piece of work, you know that.
No, actually, I am unemployed.
This show just makes... This is just getting worse and worse every moment. So, alright, let's just get further down here. So, okay, now, you are a detective, and it went horribly wrong, and now you no longer can be a detective, and you're facing many difficult problems now. So, why don't we just get right into this, please? So what happened? I want to hear this. I mean, I don't, but I'm here, beyond my will for community service, court ordered to do this show, host it, so give me a story. Now, I want everybody to think about this with their God-given consciences. If what I did was really bad or wrong, I don't seem to think there was anything wrong with trying to do my job. So as a detective, I was, as you understand, you gotta understand my background. I was a Harvard graduate with honors. So they were very, very happy to pick me to be on this job. What happened was I went to a new town, and this town was very nice, and I was very happy. There was a murder on the first day on the job. My first day there was a murder, so I already got to do an investigation. What? How in the hell can you be happy that there was a murder? And on the first day on the job, that's not good. I get it that it's work and you're a detective, but you shouldn't be happy about that, you sick. Okay. And by the way, folks, just so you know, unfortunately, he's not lying. He actually is a Harvard honors graduate. That's not a joke. Okay? I know you're probably wondering, do they hand him out as often as they hand out a bag of Cheerios in the cereal breakfast aisle? But this is not a joke. He actually is a Harvard graduate. So anyway, just continue with your story. I'm just mad you said you were happy. There's a murder on the first day of the job. I wish there was a murder on the first day of my job. No, I don't. I didn't say that. That was a joke. I was kidding. That was sarcasm. Okay, just tell me a bloody story. Well, Powen Yootipopper is somebody that's very good at his job. And what happened was there was just problems arose and things didn't go according to plan. The plan being to solve the murder. So what happened was my boss was taking me down, and basically what he said was, okay, there was a murder and it was at a sandwich shop. Okay, so there was 2 employees there that day. So I look at this, of course, and try and figure out what could be, the motives and what the killer's idea was and the plan was. And it was also not just a murder, but there was stuff stolen in the sandwich shop. Okay, so one thing that definitely was suspicious was that first I asked the owner of the shop, because his employee had died. I said, what makes you so sure that you didn't do it? Why am I not going to want to look into you? And basically what he said was that, why would he kill his own employee, his relative at that? He basically said that it was just a bunch of baloney, what I was saying. And, I got suspicious because there was actually a ton of baloney at the crime scene. And how in the world would he know that? So I felt like I was onto something. No, it's an expression. Baloney. A bunch of baloney. That means it's a bunch of hogwash. It means it's a bunch of nothing. It means it's nonsensical. That's an expression. It's a bunch of baloney. It's a bunch of baloney that I want to be on the show. And another thing, it's a sandwich shop. And he owns the sandwich shop. Of course there's going to be baloney in a sandwich shop in a crime scene that takes place in his own shop in a sandwich shop where there's going to be sandwich meats and stuff. I mean, what? You thought that was suspicious? Oh, your detective skills are horrible. They are abhorrent. I'm sorry. Not really sorry, but keep going. Immediately, I suspected that the owner was the killer.
And I hope you're listening, folks, because you got to understand how the mind of a Harvard honors detective works. I was pretty sure that the owner was the killer, because when it was just me, him, the owner of the sandwich shop, my primary suspect, and my boss at the crime scene, my boss looked at me and said, "Don't let this killer slip through the cracks." So I thought it had to be him, because obviously it wasn't me, and it wasn't my boss, and the owner of the sandwich shop was the only other guy in the room. And he said, "Don't let this killer slip through the cracks." So I figure it had to be him, and not only that, but my boss knew that it was very slippery outside on the icy sidewalks, where there is slippery cracks. So basically, I kind of thought I knew what I was doing here, and I made him my primary suspect. So, but it definitely went downhill from there. Next thing that happened, was very interesting. I was trying to use all of my guidance and my skills and assets that I've acquired through schooling, and some things are just come to you natural. I'll give you an example. So he looked into the victim's pocket, and it was a paper, and it was a little drawing by crayons made by his daughter, the victim's daughter, and it said, my boss told me, "Hey, check this out," and then he read what it said on the paper, the coloring drawing, and it said, "A princess." Okay, and the problem is I misheard him. I thought he said, "Check out what the apron says." So I looked at the apron that was hanging on the wall there, and it said "Made in China." Okay, so then I went all the way out to China, and as soon as my plane had landed, my phone blew up, and it turns out that I had made a bad judgment call. That there was no reason anybody in China could have committed this crime, this heinous act. And that's all I was doing, folks. I cared, so much about this horrible murder, and I just made a miscalculation, and my boss was pretty pissed off. And the problem is, they say that most murders need to be solved within the first 48 hours, and apparently I kind of ruined that, because I took a flight to China to follow a lead. Well, the wrong lead, because I misheard. So that was bad. I missed my 48-hour window by the time I got back. How stupid and irresponsible! Oh my God! I feel so sorry for this victim, this victim's family. How in the world can you be so stupid to think every tag? A lot of tags say "Made in China," and how is that even? How do you connect those two things? Oh, I hate you. I seriously hate you with a visceral hatred. Just continue with your story. I'm just gonna ignore that. As I was saying, another thing that halted the investigation was, basically what happened was I went back there, and they made sure no one entered the crime scene so I could take a look again, and my boss was pretty mad at me, and I said that, how stupid can you be to get murdered in your own store? I mean, that's kind of stupid. And then my boss actually got really mad at me, and he said, "How dare you?" And he basically said, "You better not cross that line." And unfortunately, I misunderstood what he was saying, and I basically thought he meant that I couldn't leave that building or the crime scene, because there was yellow pieces of yellow police tape at all the exits, and the definition of a line, according to Webster,
Oh my God, you're that dumb. You're that stupid. You actually win a prize. You just take. You have maybe the worst hearing problem I've ever heard. I mean, you actually honestly hear things, and it's not just that you mishear them, you take them seriously. Oh, this investigation didn't go anywhere. You thought you had to stay there. Just continue with your story.
Well, so the investigation wasn't going anywhere, due to my fault. But anyways, And then my boss handed me a paper with a warrant for some guy's arrest, and whom he felt was the primary suspect for this murder. Even though I disagreed with him for who he thought committed this heinous crime, I did what my boss wanted me to do. Dig up dirt, because that's what he told me. He said, dig up dirt on this guy. So I looked at the guy's name on the paper for the warrant for his arrest, and I went to the cemetery with a shovel, but I had no success finding his name on a tombstone.
To dig up dirt is an expression. How do I know that and you don't, and you're a Harvard honors graduate detective? Okay, he was basically saying for you to go look at this guy who's sketchy, who already has a warrant for his arrest, and dig up dirt on him means to do research on him, find things bad about him, check his alibi, all this other stuff. You didn't think that. Instead, you thought dig up dirt meant to literally look up somebody with the name of a live person, find that name, and to dig up the dirt in the cemetery of that guy. You are sick. You are sick in the head and in the gut. Your gut instincts are horrible. You probably have like an ulcer too. You are a horrible human being. I just keep going.
So then the next problem basically happened was, the thing is, sometimes I mishear things. And, I was on my tape recorder. I like to take audio notes, and I like to say what I am discovering, so I can keep my thoughts, recollect, and listen to them again on my tape recorder. So I remember saying that bread and dough were things that were taken, because there's robbery in this murder too at the sandwich shop. And basically, I when I was listening to it again, I realized bread and dough is also slang for money on the streets. Bread and dough, those are another words for money when it comes to the street slang. And so I thought, what is this guy trying to tell me? And I kind of forgot it was myself talking. So I thought, okay, maybe there was going to be some sort of, money laundering to acknowledge. And then when I listened to the note that I was annotating on my other note, I misheard myself again. And I actually thought I said, instead of saying acknowledge dirty laundering, I actually thought I said in college dirty laundry. So I actually went back to my university and I started looking into the dirty laundry. And, at that point, I realized that there really isn't any evidence going to be found all the way back in Harvard. And at that point, you'd be surprised what, oh my word, you are no longer human. So you actually took a tape recorder and you took notes on what you were trying to discover, which you hadn't discovered a bloody thing because you're horrible. And then you misheard your own words twice, which led you in a complete opposite direction, in a direction into nowhere, into nothing, to nothing relatable to the case. You are sick. You are sick. I don't even know what to say. I feel bad for the victim and their family. Just continue with your story. Look, you don't have anything to contribute. You're not a detective. Okay, but as Powen Yootipopper was saying, the thing that I also go by is the psychological profile of killers that we use. And, basically, one thing that they do is they visit the scene of the crime again. And they also attend their victims' funerals sometimes. And, the bakery owner had 0 priors, no criminal history anybody could find, very clean record, but he did attend the victim, his close friend and relative's co-worker's funeral. He did attend the funeral, and he visited the scene of the crime again, which is where he works. And as I said, psychological profiling would tell you that serial killers return to the scene of the crime and they go to victims' funerals, which, the bakery owner did both of these things.
I hate you. I truly hate you. So it's not suspicious either way you put it. He's going to go to a funeral for a coworker, which is his relative and his friend, you said. That's not suspicious at all. And Of course he's going to go to the scene of the crime. It's where he works. He owns the shop. Of course he's going to return to the scene of the bloody, no pun intended, crime. You stupid imbecile. There's nothing suspicious about that. You take things way out of context. I don't understand you.
No, I do not. I was only speaking in the past tense. That's all I was doing. Anyway, so I'm going to get back to the case here. So basically, due to the problems that happened, the case went cold. It was a cold case. And, the files were cold. And you know what? Even if things were done properly and correctly, the files would have been cold anyway, because I put my case files papers in my freezer because I ran out of shelf space, because it said on the side of the shelf that its capacity is 20, and I already had 20 napkins occupying the space.
Why wouldn't you just put the case on top of the freezer then?
Because that is not a shelf. That's a roof. And the saying goes that the case gets shelved.
Wow, you seriously take any piece of information as rhetoric, and I'm ashamed of you that you had such a high-paying job, a prestigious job. Now what you're saying is that you had jeopardized the case in many ways, of course, but because you mixed your papers and food storage, putting everything in turmoil. It just turmoil, like a complete failure. You put the whole, ability to solve this case in turmoil.
Actually, no, I did put all of my food that was left over in tinfoil. I did do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not the first person to do that. But how I manage my space is between me and no one else. Anyways, I'm just going to continue here. You're getting us off track. So you're not a Harvard graduate like I am. Basically, so then the thing that happened was, my boss was talking to me, and he was asking me if I had any clues, and I told him the information that I told you about the owner, the psychological profile of the killer, and how they returned the scene of crime, and all that kit and caboodle. And my boss told me, he said, quote, "I don't follow you." And then I was glad, because I absolutely hate being watched, and I told him that. So then I started to continue on with my day, and I was walking away, and all of a sudden I saw he was following me. And then he's saying, "What are you doing?" I was in the middle of a conversation. And he said, "No," I said, "I don't understand." And I said, "Oh, I thought you said you don't follow me." And that made me happy you said that. So that, caused another problem, and he was getting more angry with me. And so then, the next thing that happened was, I told him that I had an end-all be-all plan to solve this murder. And unfortunately, he didn't like it very much. He demanded an answer from me. So I told him I was going to go for a double whammy. I waited for the murderer at large to kill again so I could catch him, and then I would get twice the credit. Everyone would be so much happier to see that 2 victims and 2 families' lives who were ruined for eternity had justice.
I'm done. I can't believe this. You are sick. You are a sick human. You just, your ears, how are they that horrible that not only do you mishear things, you misinterpret, you do things based on wrongful hearing, you don't try and correct it. I wouldn't be surprised if your ears looked like devil's horns.
That's not true. My ears work just fine most of the time. I got them tested, and I got 20/20 hearing.
That's not ears. That's the test for eyes. Eyes is a 20/20. And I don't care about your eyes. I care about your disease between your ears, that brain, if you can even call it that. There is just no communication with you. Every sentence from you is irrational at best. So now I must beg the question, because the facts are all there showing that, technically speaking, you were highly recommended for your first detective job. You're a graduate from Harvard with honors. So how in the hell did you do so well at your previous jobs?
This boss was the first boss I ever had that actually was one to talk to me instead of giving me written instructions or emails, and therefore my ears got into the way of my judgment, and I couldn't perform my duties as well as I could when I'm taking a test, for example, with my photographic memory, and then I use my videographic memory as well, and just looking at stuff on paper, I can figure it out very quickly. When I have to listen, sometimes I mishear things, and it goes in the wrong direction, of course, and that's when mistakes are made. No, no offense. Actually, I mean yes offense. How, in the halt of reality that your brain lives in, are you even alive at this point? You are sick. You are scum. You are. I don't know what to call you. You're not human. You are the worst thing walking on this planet, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Those victims that aren't going to get justice, and if they do, it's going to be delayed justice, and they got the worst brunt end of the stick when it comes to this one, and it's the worst kind of stick. It's the kind of stick that's smelly and was left out in the rain, and then your dog messed with it. This is the worst. You are the worst human being I think I've ever came across. I don't think there'd be people as bad as you in prison that I was going to go to. I hate you. I truly hate you. I hate all of you people, except Adam Stark. He's all right. But I hate all you people. This show is over, folks. I'm done. I can't take another second of this. This is disgusting, and this is probably bad for everyone's IQ. Everybody out there, make your votes for who had the most prestigious men with the most catastrophic failure. I'm on there too. Vote me. Just write fifth guy or anonymous. I'm not giving out my name on air. If you think Sammis Culdren, Adam Stark, Powen Yootipopper, that's my vote. Dr. Putrick Gellpenske. And everybody, have a great day. Have a Merry Christmas. And I hope to God nobody committed suicide after listening to this sad attempt at a conversation.